हेलो एवरीवन, आई होप आप लोग सब सेफ हैं इस लॉकडाउन पीरियड में। आई नो कोविड चल रहा है, स्टे होम, स्टे सेफ। इस कोविड के टाइम में हम लोगों ने डिजिटल द्रोणाचार्य की पूरी टीम ने ये सोचा कि लेट्स डू वेबिनार आप लोग को हेल्प करने के लिए, आप लोग को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए। सो दैट्स व्हाई वी आर हियर। एंड आज का वेबिनार इमोल सर लेंगे टुगेदर इन्वेस्टिंग क्लब की तरफ से। एंड ये आपको बताएगा कि आपने कैसे फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग करनी है, टैक्स प्लानिंग कैसे करनी है, मनी मैनेजमेंट कैसे होगा, आपका अमाउंट आपको कैसे डबल करना है। तो ये सारी चीज़ों को डिस्कस करने के लिए वी आर हेयर टुडे। एंड मेरे को तो आप लोग सब जानते ही हैं, गौरी कपूर, फाउंडर ऑफ डिजिटल द्रोणाचार्य। सो आई वेलकम सर टू टेक द सेशन।
Hi, thank you, Gauri. Thank you, everyone, for your time. So, yep, we are in midst of the stage two of the pandemic, and probably most of us, or most of you guys who are watching this, are safe. You are at home, and you've taken things seriously, and probably are keeping up to yourself and keeping yourself virus exposure. So, guys, my name is Emmanuel Suraj, and I'm the Chief Investment Coach for the Together Investing Club. We are an investment awareness and education initiative by one of the portfolio wealth management companies called A3D Capital. So, exactly क्या reason था Together Investing Club start करने का? So, Together Investing Club start करने का reason ये था कि a lot of people, बहुत सारे लोग हमारे पास आते थे who could not manage their money themselves and probably could not afford a financial manager as well. So they go to low lying, or they go to financial advisors who are not professional enough, or who are not probably not wise enough, or not talented, or do not have enough experience to provide them all the services that need to be. So in order to help a special sect of a society, उन लोगों की मदद करने के लिए जिनको एक्चुअल में they have less capital, they cannot afford a professional financial manager probably, or probably people who have capital but do not know professional grade financial managers, and also a third sect of people who want to manage their money all by themselves. So these were the sects where we wanted, or these were the sects where we actually wanted to collaborate and help them analyze or help them take wise decisions in the market. So that's Together Investing Club. But today is not about the club. Today is about you. Today is about how we can help you, take wise decisions. How we can help you go ahead and change the relationship with money. Change your relationship with money. So very quickly, without taking much of your time, I'll be jumping directly to the. Okay, so Gauri ma'am, you will have to let me do a screen share. I will have to share my screen. Okay, I'm trying, but or I would request the Dronacharya team if they can help me with a screen share. Thank you. Yeah, so what I was telling you guys is we will be looking forward, and we'll be trying to ensure that you understand all the things that are actually required to cover all these dimensions of how do we say it, financial freedom, wealth maximization, and proper finances. So I'm still waiting for someone to allow the access for a screen share, because I'm not able to do the same. Okay. Let's try. Okay, great. So I hope my screen is visible. I would request someone to just confirm on the chat box that my screen is visible. Because then I cannot see myself. Okay. So, guys, we'll be talking about road to financial freedom here. And when we talk about road to financial freedom, we're talking about these things. The first thing we'll be discussing about is high income skill. So we'll be talking about how exactly does or what exactly do you need to go ahead and make sure that you actually have a high income. So we'll be talking about all these things one by one, and the ultimate objective will be road to a crore. So how most of the people who are on this video right now can make 1 crore rupees as their assets, or 1 crore rupees of their net worth, and very quickly. So we do not want this crore to be, when you're 40, when you're 60, when you're 80, not that kind of a timeline, as soon as possible. So there are three advices here. The first is, the younger you are, the better it will be for you. The second is, the wiser you are, the better it will be for you. And the third is, when we talk about money, when we're talking about managing money, there will be one element of your life that should actually be thrown out of the window, or that should never enter the room, right? And it is your emotions. So if you're clubbing money and emotions, you will always lose. You will always make losses. You will always do things that are not supposed to be done, that are unhealthy for you as an individual. So when you're talking about money, when we're dealing with money, we will keep emotions out of the window, right? So the first promise that you guys have to make to me is that when we're talking about money, or when we're talking about wealth maximization and wealth creation, we'll be keeping emotions out of the room, right? So the first thing is, let's talk about earnings. So there are two things that you can do with money. There is no third thing that you can do with money. Tell me a third thing that you can do with money, and probably we'll go ahead and look about it. So the first thing you can do with money is you can save or you can invest. And the second is you can spend. There is nothing else you can do with money, right? You can earn, you can save, and you can spend. There is absolutely nothing else that you can do. It's in its pure state, money is valueless, or money is termless, right? So mindset multiplied by skill set is equal to income. This is something that I had read when I was very young, and I realized that it's not just about what you can do, it's also about how you can do, and it's also about how you can convince other people that they need the product and service that you're offering, right? So the key to entire financial planning is income. So if you tell me, okay, when will I have 100 crore rupees, or when will I have 50 crore rupees? The first question I'll ask you is, what is your current income, right? So the entire process of financial planning starts with income, right? So the hack is, the more value you add to the society, the more value you add to your organization, the more value you add to your surroundings, the more earning you can make, right? At the end of the day, it is about collecting money from other people, or collecting money from other organizations, and then making sure that it is getting redistributed through you. So you'll have to be a node in the society that is collecting all the finances, or that is collecting as much money as possible, and then redistributing into assets, into liabilities, into cash flows, into salaries for other people, and all such things, right? So how do we address this problem of earning? Because I'm sure, especially when we're living in India, the major problem is, how do we make, or how do we get a high income job? So like any of you would do, all I did is I went to Google and I typed in high income skills in India, right? And the first link that comes is this Desi link from shine.com, which is an Indian company. Of course, it's into online learning and things like that. And it says 10 high income skills to make 6 figures a month. So 6 figures, they're probably talking about lakhs. The first is artificial intelligence. Then they come to cybersecurity, financial skills. So this is where I come up, financial skills, right? Then they're talking about entrepreneurship, selling skills. So selling skills is sales, website development, analytical skills, writing skills, legal skills, and teaching, right? So I'm sure teaching, they're not just talking about school grade teaching or college grade teaching. They're talking about the intrapreneurs of this generation, right? So when we look at this set, there is a lot of opportunity here, right? And then I go to an international acclaimed mentor, Mr. Dan Luke. He's an Asian American, and he's one of the quickest, richest people in America. And when we look at the article here, it also suggests that software development, entrepreneurship, copywriting, web design, public speaking, sales, financial skills, right? So then I come down and I realize that probably for earning, You don't need one skill set, you need multiple skill sets, right? So probably if I know finance, I should also know something else. So I should also be good at sales. If I'm good at sales, I should also know something else. So most of you, if you're from Dronacharya, you know, you will be good at content creation, you'll be good at social marketing, you'll be good at different things, you'll be good at the Instagram and LinkedIn and other things which probably I'm very bad at, right? I do have an Instagram account, but you will go there and you will see I'm not great at it. So the objective is, if you have multiple high income skill sets and you mix them together, then you become a unique prodigy. You become a unique person with a skill set where you can actually demand, because the value that you'll be providing to the society is more. So the first thing you will have to do is you will have to get hands on high income skills. And one of the high income skills that I can help you get hands on is the finance part, is picking up good stocks, picking up good businesses, picking up good companies, making sure emotions are not getting involved in your cash flows, making sure you're not spending more than you're earning, and things like that, right? So finance is a skill set that you need, and we are Together Investing Club are here to help you. The second best skill set is content creation, right? And I guess Dronacharya is helping you with that. So going ahead, once you've earned, what is the next step? So once, let's say I make 1 lakh rupees a month, or I make 10 lakh rupees a month, or I make 1 crore rupees a month, what is the next step? The moment you make money, there is going to be the tax man who's going to come and ring your bill, and he's going to say, okay, you bought ice cream for 100 rupees. I need to eat the 1/3 of the ice cream first. And then you get to eat the 2/3 of the ice cream, right? So like one of my close gods, Warren Buffett, says, if you want to teach a kid about taxes, eat 1/3 of his ice cream before giving it to him. In the same way, the second thing you'll have to understand is tax or tax planning. Now, there are two things that happen to tax, right? Either you can plan your tax or you pay your tax, right? These are absolutely two different things. People who plan their taxes end up rich. People who pay their taxes keep cribbing about how government is trying to loot them, how government takes so much of their income away from them, how government is doing XYZ things that are irrelevant. But taxes are a way where we ensure there is societal equilibrium, where we're ensuring that the rich and poor and everybody else who lives around us has at least some basic platform, right? We've seen models without tax. We've seen civil riots happening over tax. We've seen so much around tax across the globe. You know, you will see tax in itself is a very emotional and a very political framework in itself. And without getting deep into it, all we have to understand is, as an individual, I can either plan my taxes or I can pay my taxes. And the best thing to do is plan my taxes, right? So if 50% of your income is taxed, both directly and indirectly, planning those taxes reduces the burden that you're carrying on your shoulders, right? So planning these taxes probably help you in the long run. They help you creating wealth in the long run. So what I do is I pay taxes every month, or I plan my taxes every month. I don't plan taxes at the end of March. I don't know how many of you have seen your parents. My parents, you know, every March, they'll be like, oh, we don't have any salary left. And why? Because they've not planned their taxes every month. And in March, when it's the time to pay taxes, they're left with no salaries, right? Because most of the tax planning is not being done, and the company has to forcefully take tax out of their last paycheck of the last month of the financial year, right? So plan your taxes. Now, why is this relevant? We will just see of how this is absolutely relevant when we go down to the other section of it. The third is, or the second thing that you do, or the third thing that you do once you've earned, is you invest, right? So a lot of people come to me and say, you know what, investing should be after spending. Absolutely not. Investing should be before you have spent. Why? Because if you start spending, you will have no money left for investing, right? The objective is, if you're spending, you're paying someone else. For example, if you join the Together Investing Club, you're paying me. If you buy a bottle of water, you're paying the guy who's selling you the bottle of water. If you're buying an internet connection, you're paying to Jio, you're paying to Airtel, right? So spending is paying someone else. Investing is paying yourself, paying your future self, right? So whenever you make any money, let it be 100 rupees, 1,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees, 1 crore rupees, whenever you make any money, the first rule in the book is pay yourself first, right? Invest in your future. And paying yourself doesn't mean, keeping the money in a bank, keeping the money in a fixed deposit, keeping the money with mutual funds. It simply means, paying yourself also means you probably invest in education. you invest in assets, you invest in relationships, right? Those are also asset creations. Those are also assets. Invest as much as you can and as early as you can. So in just after 5 to 10 minutes, we'll be seeing of how different time of investments ensure that someone is richer than you simply because they started early, right? No other reason. They started earlier than you, they're investing less money than you, but they're richer than you simply because they started earning, right? So we'll be seeing how time plays a very critical role when we're talking about investing. Automate all your investments, right? And just don't think about it. If you're getting paid 100 rupees a month, you should automate 30 rupees out of it every month. If you're getting paid 1 lakh rupees a month, 30,000 of it should directly get into investments without you making any effort for investing, without you making any conscious effort for investing. You will have to automate your investments. And do not hire a manager, do not hire a bank, do not hire a person like me, do not hire your dad's friend, your friend's brother, or your mother's friend, whoever it is. Do not hire a manager unless it is big enough, right? So what does big enough mean? Big enough here simply means if you do not have 6 months of your salary in your bank, or if you do not have 6 months of salary in an asset, do not hire a manager to go ahead and manage it, right? Because then you end up paying more as fees and you receive less interest, or you get rewarded less as compared to that, right? You're paying too much to a manager to manage if your asset is not big enough. Invest for wealth maximization and not for wealth generation. A big mistake that today's generation, or people of my age, people who are younger than me, people who are slightly elder than me are doing is they invest to generate wealth. That's absolutely the wrong way of investing. The right way of investing is to invest to maximize wealth, to move from owning a Maruti to owning a Maserati, to move from owning a 2 BHK to owning a villa, right? To owning a mansion, to move from having, let's say, lakhs of rupees in your back, in your asset side, to crores of rupees in your asset side. That transition in lifestyle, that transition in wealth, wealth, that transition in how you are as an individual will happen only if you invest in wealth maximization instruments. Wealth generation instruments are not actual investing instruments, right? And then we will just see of how these are different instruments, how wealth maximization is absolutely different from wealth generation. We'll be looking at it in next 10 to 5 minutes, right? And then we will be talking about do not spend before you invest. Otherwise, you will not be left with any money to invest, right? The hack is decide a percentage amount of income and invest it forever, right? So keep investing with every paycheck and decide a percentage of your paycheck and just keep investing it. I'll just come down to what are the absolute percentages that we should be looking forward to. Then we come to spending. So it's a very simple line, but I don't know why people don't get it. Why I didn't get it for a very long time, and I realized it quite late in my life. Otherwise, trust me, I would have had a lot of money by now, right? So want to spend more, increase your income first, right? Income doesn't lie. So when you want to buy something, and if you cannot afford it, you cannot afford it, right? Credit cards, loans, personal loans, anything apart from a home loan. Home loan is a different concept, but any credit that you take from a bank, apart from a home loan, is basically you're trying to kill yourself in the future. Is basically you're trying to penalize yourself in the future, right? If you cannot afford something today, you cannot afford something tomorrow. As simple as that. So why take a debt? Why take a loan, right? So income doesn't lie is a concept where if you want to spend more, just try and increase your income first, and then you can spend. Trust me, I don't want you not to spend. I don't want you not to buy that next super bike. I don't want you not to buy that fancy suit or a fancy dress. I just want you to increase your income before you're buying these liabilities, before you're buying these fancy things, right? So first increase your income, and then you can spend on whatever you want to, right? Never borrow from your future. So the objective is never take a credit card, never take a peer-to-peer loan. Don't borrow from your friends. That absolutely destroys your relation. Unless you're in a medical emergency, unless your friends and family are in a medical emergency, just don't borrow money, because borrowing money is a habit that spoils a lot of people's lives, right? You will see so many people who will come back and tell you, oh, we were super rich. We had shops in Chandni Chowk, we had great business, we had this, we had that. And then you sit with them and you ask them what happened exactly. And if you ask them of what went wrong, they will tell you the debt is the major problem that got them into trouble. We will look at so many people in India so many business owners in India who have got into trouble simply because of debt. You will see the Future Group in trouble because of debt. You will see the Anil Ambani Group in trouble because of debt. There are so many groups in trouble simply because of debt, right? So debt is not good. And if the wise people are not able to manage it, if people from Stanford, Harvard, IIMs, IITs, they are not able to manage debt, I don't think we should even try to manage debt, right? So no loan, no credit card, no peer-to-peer borrowing, right? So live below your means. Never spend more than 30% of your income. I have been following this rule for almost 7 years now. I guess 6 years, if I'm not 6.5 years, if I'm not wrong. And trust me, it gives a lot of mental satisfaction. It's okay if I have less number of shirts in my wardrobe. It's okay if I have less number of shoes. It's okay if my laptop is 5-year-old. If it's running, I'm not going to change it. I am not conjuice, I am kifaiti, right? So the objective is do not spend more than 30% of your income. It really helps you in the long run. My bank balance is stronger than a lot of people around me simply because I don't want to spend them on things that do not give returns, right? So track your expenses, analyze them, make a budget, stick to it, right? And understand the difference between an asset and a liability. For a lot of you who are former students, you will see that when we talk about buying a car, we put them in asset. But if I ask you how much money does the car give you back, you have no answer to it, right? You only spend on your car. There is never a time when car gives you back any money. So the basic differentiation between an asset and a liability for you as an individual or for me as an individual should be anything that puts money in my pocket is an asset. And anything that takes money out of my pocket is a liability. And at the end of the day, if I have more number of assets and less number of liabilities, my life is better. I'm not asking you not to own a car. What I'm saying is own a car, but do not name it an asset. Own a house, but do not name it an asset, right? Because as long as you're buying a house and not renting it and you're living in it, it is not an asset. This is a liability. You will be spending on maintenance. You will be spending on electricity. You will be spending on water and so many things, right? Your mom wants a garden in the house. Your father wants you to buy something for him in the house. So the objective is whenever you're buying something, segregate them, whether they're an asset or a liability. Try to have more number of assets and try to reduce the liabilities that you have. The hack here is spend the hard cash, invest the bank money. That's for that's an objective way of looking at it, or that's the objective way of looking at it. Now, this is a vicious circle of wealth maximization. The reason I'm calling it vicious is because it becomes vicious if you know how to do it, right? So let's go ahead and look at what it is. Like we've already talked, income is inevitable, right? If you really want to do something in life, income is inevitable. You can do whatever you want to do in life, but always ask yourself who is paying the bill. And if it's not you, there is something wrong about it, right? So it should be you in charge for your income. It should be you who will be talking about your income. And we've already discussed a lot of high income skills. One of the high income skills is where I can help you. That is finance, that is trading in stocks, that is managing your finances and finding good companies to invest in, right? So if you have income, the next thing that comes up is taxes. So taxes, again, split into two. You can plan your taxes or you can pay your taxes. If you pay your taxes without planning, it simply goes into expenses. It's a drain. It's like water going out of a tank, right? You have put so much effort to earn the money and then you end up paying taxes. There are smart people. I would not say me because I didn't plan my taxes for the first 3 years, but then I realized and I started planning my taxes. But there are smart people who plan their taxes. When they plan their taxes, they invest through instruments like ATC, ATCCD, Section 24 and all those things. You should meet a friend who is a CA and just ask them to explain of how you can plan your taxes. And once you plan your taxes, you invest, right? If you plan your taxes, you can go ahead and invest. Once you've invested, there are returns on your investments because of interest, because you get interest on your investments. And these returns with the principal is added back to your income, right? And again, you will have to plan taxes. So this circle, if you see the screenshot here on the right, this circle where your income goes into tax planning, goes into investments and is added back into income, this circle is called the cycle of wealth maximization, right? The more investments you do, the more returns you get, the more income you get, the more investments you can do again. right? This is how the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer, because the rich are working on the right side of this diagram and the poor are working on the left side of this diagram, right? So now if you see, the purple lines are the lines that you cannot avoid. Income you should not be avoiding, taxes you should not be avoiding, expenses, there are most of the expenses you cannot avoid. You cannot not wear clothes, you cannot not live in a house and not pay rent, you cannot not eat, right? So these are things you cannot do. Red are the things you should not be doing, right? And green are the things you must do, the lines here. So loan, you will see, is in red because you're borrowing from your future self. You will always end up paying more than you have taken if you take a loan. And that in itself is a very crazy idea. Why should I pay more for something if I can just buy it for 10 bucks? Why should I be paying 20 bucks for it, right? That's what people do when they buy cars on loan. That's what people do when they buy houses on loan, right? And things like that. So investment, when we talk particularly about investment, there are actually three ways of investing. One is for wealth generation. So when we're talking about wealth generation, we're talking about rental assets, we're talking about houses, properties, industries, factories, commercial plots, and things like that, and bonds. So you can invest in fixed deposits, you can invest in corporate bonds and things like that. Then we're talking about wealth accumulation. People who do PPF, people who do recurring deposits, people who do SIP in debt instruments. These are not investments that will take you from 100 to 1,000, from 1,000 to a lakh, from a lakh to a crore, right? So wealth generation and wealth accumulation will not add zeros in front of your investment, right? There is only one model which will add zeros in front of your investment, that is wealth maximization model, right? Where you are investing in secondary equities, you're investing in businesses that are listed in the stock exchange, you're investing in private equity companies, you're investing in startups, or you're investing in SIP equity, whereas systematic investment plan, mutual funds, or in direct stocks. There are so many instruments where you can invest in, right? So wealth maximization happens when you invest in these models. And finally, there is wealth erosion. So gambling is one of the wealth erosion models, and trading in stocks without analyzing, or just buying and selling stocks with your own wish without analyzing the business is wealth erosion, right? So this is in a red line, because gambling and stock speculation is not going to make you rich. Trust me, I know so many people who have tried this road and have not ended up well, right? So finally, we come down to where to invest, right? We understand that this is the wealth maximization model. We should have an income. We should have a high skill paying income. The minimum income you should have if you're in India is 70,000 rupees at least. That's when you can actually start living a life, right? So how do you acquire 70,000 rupees a month? Is through these high income skills, or combination of these high income skills, and adding more value to the society, right? So where to invest? So wealth maximization through ATC, you can invest in ELSS, you can invest in ULIPs, you can invest in SIP plans. Wealth accumulation, of course, PPF, recurring deposits, SIP in debt mutual funds, and wealth generation is SIP in dividend mutual funds and things like that, right? So now what we have just shown is we're trying to describe that if you invest 5,000 rupees per month at 12%, for n number of years, how much do you get? So in 5 years, you end up getting 4.1 lakhs. Not that big an amount. It's a simple amount, right? 8 years, you get 8 lakhs. Okay. 10 years, you get 11 lakhs. 12 years, you get 16 lakhs. The magic starts after 28 years, after 30 years, after 25 years, right? After 25 years, you get 94.9 lakhs. After 28 years, you get 1.4 crores. After 30 years, you get 1.8 crores. After 35 years, you get 3.2 crores. And I'm sure there is nobody around who cannot invest 5,000 rupees a month if they're from a normal background, if they're doing their jobs, if they're doing things like that. 5,000 rupees a month is the bare minimum you should be investing because of inflation, because of how things are getting expensive and things like that, right? So now what we're coming to see is what happens if you do not start investing today, right? Let's say you say, I've just started working. I don't want to invest today. I want to be able to invest sometime else. I want to be able to invest in a time where, where I should be, I want to have fun with my money right now, and I'll invest later, right? So let's look at a comparison. Let's say someone starts investing 5,000 rupees and he invests for 40 years at 12%. They end up getting 5.7 crores, right? Not a fancy amount. Trust me, if you're investing for 40 years and you're getting 5.7 crores, it's not fancy at all. It's a very bad amount to live with if you've invested for 40 years. We will just see of how we can change these figures. But let's say someone didn't do it and they say, I will enjoy my life for the first 10 years. I will not invest 5,000. But after 10 years, I will invest 10,000 rupees, double than what the person A invested, right? So now, if he's investing 10,000 rupees for 30 years, he's investing more. So the person A invested 24 lakhs, the person B is investing 36 lakhs, almost 10 lakhs more. But the return is almost 2 crore rupees less, right? Actually, 1.5 crore rupees less, right? So the objective is wealth gains if you give wealth time, if you give your assets time. It's like a mango tree, right? If you give more time to a mango tree, it will give you better fruits, it will give you more fruits, it will give you more quality fruits, right? In the same way, if your assets are given more time, they will give you better returns. And let's say Mr. C comes up and he says, I want to enjoy first 20 years of my life. मैं अपने पहले 20 साल बिल्कुल इन्वेस्ट नहीं करूंगा. So why am I taking an 40 years number of investment is because according to Harvard Business Review, 40 years is exactly your professional career. You work from 20 to 60 or 25 to 65, depending on what type of career you have. But 20 years is actually, yeah. So, but 20 years is actually the time that 40 years is actually the time you're professionally working. That is why I'm taking 40 years, right? Now, let's say half of your life or half of your professional life you spent enjoying, and you say, okay, now I will invest 4 times of what Mr. A was investing, and I'll invest for 20 years. So they end up investing 48 lakh rupees, but end up getting only 1.5 crores, right? So the objective here is defeated. You're not given enough time for the asset to grow. You're not given enough time for the asset to grow, mature, and give you sweeter and better fruits, right? So this is the objective, or this is where we say invest as soon as possible and invest as much as possible, right? And this is the wealth maximization cycle. Now, coming down to how do we exactly go ahead and make a road to a crore, right? What is the easiest way of investing or getting 1 crore rupees? Now, SIP here does not mean you invest in mutual funds, okay? SIP, I know because of the campaign, because of the marketing, because of how it is positioned as a word, SIP is a more popular word than mutual funds, right? But SIP here, it does not mean mutual funds. It simply means you're investing every month, okay? So first clarification is I'm not asking you to invest in mutual funds, right? And the kind of returns I'm going to show you, mutual funds might not give you, right? In my 9 years of experience, I have not seen mutual funds giving this kind of returns, but I'm just trying to show you. So the first thing is I'm assuming you have a high income skill. That is, you have an income skill of being able to generate 15% every year from the stock markets, or 15% every year from the capital markets or from the assets that you're investing in. This is an assumption I'm making because I want everyone to have the skill set. I want everyone to be able to make 15% without any question every year from the markets, right? That is the bare minimum you can make. And if you think you cannot, talk to Together Investing Club people and they will tell you why we do not accept any returns below 15%. Why? Anything below 15% is not acceptable in India for us, right? And let's say you invest 36,000 rupees every month, right? So let's say someone makes 1 lakh rupees every month and they start investing 36,000 every month, including their investment schemes through tax planning, including the direct investments and all those things. And they end up investing for the first 10 years, right? So the assumption is you have a high income skill. You can actually invest at 15% every year, where you can generate 15% for yourself every year, right? And then you make 36,000 rupees, you take 36,000 rupees out of your pocket every month. And before you pay your rent, before you pay your landlord, before you pay for your car, before you pay for the petrol, before you pay for the cook who comes and cooks at your house, before you do charity or anything, you pay yourself 36,000 rupees for your future self, right? And then if you go ahead and invest, it becomes 1 crore. The simple road to 1 crore is you have to give yourself 10 years, 36,000 rupees every month at 15%. It becomes 1 crore. As simple as that, right? Now, for a lot of you who come back and who say, oh, we do not have 36,000 to invest. Well, for them, I think 15,000 invested for 15 years will also give 1 crore. 15,000 invested for 15 years also give 1 crore. So the excuse is not an excuse. You can actually increase the time, reduce the monthly investment, but the objective is to come down to the first crore, right? why the amount of 1 crore is so important? I will just show it to you in a couple of seconds. But this is a website called sipcalculator.in, right? And it's been almost 7 years this website has not changed. It is the same website, right? There are a lot of crazy ads. Do not pay attention to them. But this is a very fancy website. You can actually go to this website and play with these three and just kind of figure out what is the exact amount that you can get. Here, the two assumptions is, the first is you will keep investing this amount forever. That is, forever means for this number of years, and you have the skill set to compound at 15%. If you do not have the skill set to compound at 15%, if you do not know how the stock markets work, if you do not understand how to make money out of the stock markets, keep the rates at 12%. Do not take the rate to 15%, right? So now if someone who does not understand how to invest in stock markets start investing the same amount, right? They end up with 83.6 lakhs, which is also a very decent amount, right? Those 25 lakhs or those 20 lakhs doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but they do to me, right? Because if I'm investing at 15%, and if I end up investing for the rest of my professional career, I make 113 crores, right? While someone who does not have the skill set and is not able to make minimum 15% and is making somewhere around 12%, ends up having 42 crores, right? So in a span of 40 years, in a span of my entire professional career, getting this high income skill of understanding the capital markets, of understanding the stock markets, of understanding how businesses work, and only simply generating 3% extra every year puts me to 2x of my net worth. Takes me 2 times of my net worth to an individual investor who does not understand how the stock markets operate, right? So this is how it is. Now, why 1 crore is important is very simple. Let's say we're talking about 10 years. We're talking about 10 years from now, right? And let's say 20 years from now, and 30 years from now, and 40 years from now, right? So this is where your professional career started. And let's say the professional career when it started is day zero. So let's say today you got your first job and you started investing 36,000 rupees today onwards, right? So today your net worth is zero. I'm assuming the net worth today is zero. After 10 years, your net worth will be 1 crore. So I'm just writing 1 because now we've already achieved 1 crore. We don't want to talk about fancy numbers. I don't want zeros here, right? So let's say your first, the first amount after 10 years that you have is 1 crore. Now what happens is after 20 years, if you're able to compound at 15%, I'll just show it to you. After 20 years, if you're able to compound at 15%, it simply becomes 4 times, right? So if I'm doing 4 times here, it will be 4 crores by 20 years of your investment or of your professional investment. And this here, you're not investing. So after 10 years, you're not investing. You stopped investing after 10 years, right? So if you've stopped investing after 10 years, after 20 years of your professional career, you will have 4 crores. After 30 years, you will have 16 crores. And by the time you will retire, you will anyways have 64 crores, right? So this is why the 1 crore is important. The moment you hit 1 crore, technically you're financial free. There is another mathematical equation that proves that the moment you have 1 crore, the moment you have 4 crores, you can retire as well. You can actually take a financial retirement where you're not working any longer for money. Retirement does not mean stop working. Retirement means stop working for money. You know, you can still work on projects that you're passionate about. You can still work on projects that's very close to your heart and mind, but you can actually stop working the moment you have 4 crore rupees in your bank, right? If any of you has 4 crore rupees in your bank, get back to me and you can actually put your papers down tomorrow itself. You don't have to work any longer, right? So the objective is, if you can continue doing this, it really becomes great. And we've already seen that if you do not stop investing at the 10th year, and if you continue investing for 40 years, you end up making 100 crores, right? We've already seen that, 113 crores. So that's already there. So you have 2 options, right? You can either continue investing for 40 years, or you can stop investing after 10 years. But in any case, you will have to start today, right? Even if you want to enjoy your life after, let's say, 10 years or 20 years, and you say, I don't want to invest anything after that, it's okay. But today, you are not allowed to enjoy your life. Today, you're not allowed to spend that extra money. Today, you're not allowed to buy that fancy car. Today, you're not allowed to wear that hacked shirt, right? Because The high income skill is like a mango tree that you've just planted. If you start plucking leaves, you will never get fruits, right? So stop plucking leaves out of the tree and let the tree grow up and bear some fruits, because fruits are valuable. Leaves are not valuable to you. They're valuable only to the asset. They're valuable only to the plant. So for example, if this 1 crore after 10 years you end up spending, okay, let's say you just end up spending the entire 1 crore and I do a zero here, you will see that you end up with a zero after 40 years, right? You will not end up with 64 crores. By just taking an emotional decision of spending this 1 crore rupees after 10 years, you end up with a zero. And by taking a non-emotional decision or a rational decision where you say ये 1 crore मेरा है ही नहीं, ये 1 crore मेरा 40 साल बाद ही होगा, you end up getting 64 crores, right? So it depends on what you're doing as an individual. It depends on what you are as an individual, and how can you actually go ahead and how can you actually start doing things here, right? So that's the presentation time. That's my time. So I'm open to any questions that you guys have. Oh, there are so many questions already, so I cannot read all of them. But now if you put in a question in the chat box, I can go ahead and read it and I can clarify them. I'll go through the chat box simultaneously and I'll see if there are any questions there that I can actually answer. Okay, great. So guys, the crux of the entire thing, the crux of the entire concept that I wanted to clarify for you guys is one very simple: first, get a high income skill. If it is about digital dronacharya, go and learn social media, right? Go and learn how exactly does Google work. Go and learn how Instagram algorithms work. How can a LinkedIn post get crores of likes, crores of followers, and how do people like me end up getting only 1,000 followers on Instagram, right? How can someone have 1 million followers? Why does Emmanuel have 1,000 followers? And trust me, if you come back to me and you say, Emmanuel, you know what? I can get you 1 million followers on Instagram, or I can get you 1,000 followers for your company tomorrow. I am ready to pay you, right? So that's a high income skill. Or come back to us, come back to me, learn how the markets work, learn how the stock markets work, learn how to invest in a business, and we're solving another problem. So the first point is you will have to go back, you will have to ask yourself, what are the 2 or 3 high income skills that you need? One skill will not cut through, right? It was our parents' generation where one skill would make one skill would make you really rich. In today's generation, one skill is not helpful. You need at least 3 high income skills. I have 2. I'm working on the 3rd one right now, right? So you need at least 3 high income skills before you hit 30. Trust me. And if you have 3 high income skills before you hit 30, nobody can stop you from making a lot of money. So the first thing is have a high income skill. The second is invest before you spend. The third is invest wisely. The fourth is spend at least less than 30% of your income. And the fifth and the most important is, once you have invested, once you have made a lot of money through investing, do not control your how do I say, the greed to spend. Control your emotions to live your life the very big size. Trust me, tomorrow you can live better as compared to today, because like I say, do not pluck the leaves before you get the fruits, right? Okay, so I have a couple of questions. Where to invest exactly? So Shivang, I think you will have to answer that question better. Invest in things that you understand. Do not invest in things that you do not understand. I don't understand cryptocurrencies. I have not invested in cryptocurrencies, right? I do not understand how commercial real estate works. I understand residential real estate. I've never invested in commercial real estate. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't make me a small investor, right? If I'm buying a residential real estate, it doesn't make me a small investor, right? So the objective is invest in things that you understand, right? Except for stock markets, what can offer 12% rate? There are very few instruments that offer 12% rate apart from stock markets. You can actually look out for residential real estate, but you will have to look out for real estate that is out of the core area. That is, you cannot expect 12% if you buy in the central Delhi or in central Bombay or in central Bangalore. Those rates are not going to go up. You can actually buy newly developing areas or areas that you think are going to do good. Again, you will have to do a lot of research to be able to do that as well, right? So a lot of research goes there. Apart from that, you can get 12% in private equities, but again, that's a more complex structure. So the easiest way to get 12% is to invest in the Indian index, right? You can buy a good Indian index like a Nifty 50 or a Nifty 500 for an average of 10 to 20 years, and you will get 12%, right? You don't need much financial awareness for that. Yeah. But if you want 15%, you will have to dig deeper. You will have to make more research. You will have to get to it better. Trust me, people who professionally manage their money make at least 20 to 22% year on year, right? Okay, so I guess that answers your question. Which penny stocks to invest in these days? Well, Rahul, very good question. But trust me, I don't invest in penny stocks. I don't like penny stocks because I have to pay more brokerage to buy a penny stock. So if I want to buy a stock worth 1 rupee, I have to pay 1 rupee as a brokerage. That is the commission I have to pay to the broker. So now suddenly my break even is 2 rupees. If that stock doubles, I will get a break even, right? So you will have to go ahead and see of what is the value proposition. Also, penny stocks will not make you rich. I have never seen in my 9 years of careers, I have never seen anyone going rich just by buying penny stocks. There is nobody like that. Yes, you can buy small companies, you can buy small businesses, you can buy medium businesses. They grow faster than the large businesses. But then you will have to understand what that business does. You will have to understand of what that company does. Okay. During COVID, what stocks should we invest in? Well, I'll tell you a couple of businesses that I am buying. Now, I'll not take names because, I cannot as a portfolio manager, but I'll tell you a couple of businesses I'm buying. Just look around you, okay, and see at what is getting sold in the market. You will see a lot of cycles around you, right? During the last lockdown, I bought a couple of cycle companies, and they've already tripled they've gone 4 times from where I bought, right? So look at what businesses are benefiting out from the current situation. Entertainment is going bonkers, right? I bought a couple of online entertainment companies in the New York Stock Exchange, and they've really done great. So entertainment is going bonkers. Online streaming is going bonkers. Look at how medicine has changed, how vaccinations have changed, how health and hygiene has changed, right? And FMCG, of course, is doing great, right? Also, you can look at a lot of IT companies from the IT sector. They're doing great, right? So I'm not telling you names because I don't want you to invest them without putting your mind into it. I'm just giving you a direction that look at these businesses and they're really, really doing great, and you can actually look at those businesses, right? And Pragati is asking, what are the skills that are considered as high income skills? Well, Pragati, I'll just try to show the screen again. Let me just try and, yes. So now if you can see my screen, these are a couple of high income skills according to Dan Lok. This is an international guy. It's an American website. Software development is great. Web development is great. So basically, software, web, copywriting, and all these things I put into content creation. So if you can do online content creation, I'm good with that. It's a high income skill. Entrepreneurship. If you have a new idea, if you have a new product, a new solution, and if you can scale that solution, if you can scale that product, amazing. So we saw a lot of bakers during the lockdown, right? I'm sure you saw a lot of home bakers during the lockdown. Now, if you see what's the problem of a home baker, the problem is scalability, right? They cannot cater to the entire world. They cannot cater to the entire country. But it's a repeat business. There will be a lot of money that will be coming up. You will always be profitable. There is hardly any chance that you can make losses, right? So things like that. So if you're an entrepreneur, great. Web design, digital marketing, teaching, training, coaching. If you know something very good, if you're very good at something, go ahead and do it. There are a lot of fakers also here. There are a lot of people who do not understand anything about what they're trying to teach, train, or coach. And do not take any offenses, but trust me, the market knows. One fine day they understand that you do not have enough content, or you've not done it yourself. So just refrain from that. If you've not spent at least 5 to 10 years of your professional career in one specialization, then there are legal administrative skills, public speaking, financial skills. That's where I come from. Cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and things like that. So these are the places that are high income skills. These are the things that will actually ensure that you can go ahead and make that money. So again, in which stocks we should invest in short term? Again, Devendra, there is no shortcut to being rich. Trust me. There is. I might sound very old saying it, but I'm younger than you guys might think I am, or younger than a lot of people imagine me being. And trust me, I have tried all the shortcuts that you might think of, and then I ended up building my own road of a long-term horizon, right? I have tried all the shortcuts in life, and then I've realized shortcuts will only kill your money. They will only kill your time. They're great for entertainment. They're great for experience. They're great to know new things, but shortcuts will not take you anywhere, right? Uh, Harun is asking, is it the right time to invest in COVID? Trust me, it is the best time to invest. Whenever the market is selling, whenever the stocks are coming down, whenever the businesses are being sold, it is the best time to buy, because the best businesses are coming down, right? The bad businesses are also coming down. So if the best businesses and the bad businesses start coming down, you have an opportunity to buy the best business, right, at a better valuation. For example, I don't know how many of you love Maggie. I don't know how many of you love, the Nestle tomato ketchup, the Maggie tomato ketchup, or things like that. That you're not going to stop eating Maggie, even if COVID comes around, or even if things go bonkers. It is the time where I would want to buy that stock, because even if Nestle starts falling, I know Arun is not going to stop by eating Maggie, right? So I will buy Nestle. I'm just giving an example again. I'm not buying Nestle because it's too overvalued, even as we speak. It has fallen, but it has not fallen enough for me to buy. But the objective is, I will buy businesses that the products of the businesses that you will keep buying even after COVID, even in COVID, right? And that is where I will buy in businesses that are actually doing great in terms of sales in products or sales in services, right? Okay. Yes, and Gore is saying that digital marketing skills and writing skills are always a high-paying skills. Absolutely, trust me, that is not a core area for me. And I have no knowledge of how Instagram, Facebook, social media, and search engine optimization and all this works. And I am really struggling to find a good guy. We want to hire good people in that domain, but the objective is, you will have to know everything about it. You will have to be like the Elon Musk of digital marketing, or the Jeff Bezos of digital marketing, or a guy who absolutely understands a high income skill to its core. For example, I understand finance to its core, right? And that's my high income skill. That's why people hire me. That's why people give me crores of rupees to manage it for them. That's why people come to me to learn stock markets from me, right? So unless you've put in that effort to be an absolutely professional grade investor or an absolutely professional grade social marketeer, you're not going to make it, right? It's not easy. It's a lot of hard work. Unless you have spent thousands of hours understanding of how something works, nothing is going to work, right? Okay, so any other questions? Okay, great. Thank you, Muskan. So guys, summing up, first focus on your income. First focus uh, on building your income. Then focus on how you can exactly manage this money well. So finance is always the second. Finance is always the second most wanted high income skill, right? And third, and the most important, hold yourself. Don't try to live your life too soon, right? Don't try to have that fancy jacket right now. It's okay if you don't have it. Nobody's gonna reject you for that, right? Just invest your money at right places. Learn how to invest your money. Learn how to make a high income skill set. And just try to live for another 10 years where you are investing. And after 10 years, trust me, you can buy things that are better than you. You can live a life that you've never imagined of. And that is only possible if you start investing, if you start earning, and if you start segregating your expenses and your income. So that's my time. I think there are no more questions left. Thank you so much, Digital Donacharya, for this platform. Thank you, Gauri ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really wonderful session, and people are really appreciating all you have taught. So, each one of you, thank you for attending this. And if you want to learn about finance and everything, we are giving you the number of sir. You can contact him, and you can approach him for further details. And if you want to learn about content writing or high paying skills, then you can contact us. So both of the numbers we are giving you, and thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session, and thank you for being the greatest audience. And some of the students I have seen, which were in the our session for 5 days, and we just miss you. We really miss you. So for sure, we'll conduct again to see you again. All those days were the wonderful days. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe. And for the certificates, you can contact us. We are giving you the number as well. So and do like our pages, Instagram, Facebook, subscriber channel for the further updates, and subscribe the channel of Sir as well. Like the channel, like the Instagram, like the Facebook, follow us and stay connected. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks. Thank you so much, Parul.